Everybody, I've shared some files with you. I've shared a Winman full month-end checklist, and then I've also shared with you a Winman light month-end checklist. So in essence, all the checks still needs to be done, whether you're on full or light or whatever it might be. The big difference, of course, is depending on which program you are. I've got some distortion in the background, so I'm just going to quickly mute some people. Sorry about this. All right. Now, those things, please, they're guidelines. They're not going to be the beginning or the end of your checklist. It's really just guidelines from our side so that you can see exactly what we suggest you should be doing and should be checking. And I know I see Numandi kept her main module open, and I was very proud of her. But I'm not going to work with the main module. I'm going to literally work from this checklist that I've just sent to all of you. So let me quickly open it up. We're going to start with a Winman Lite. Why? Because if you think about it, the full Winman is just basically adding on top of the transaction. And I think this, of course, and now my luck, it opens on the wrong screen. Let me just drag it. Yeah, Numans, you're welcome to still try and say as much as you want to say, hey? I won't brain play you. Okay, now for those of you who joined us last week, I think it was last week, we also went through a very good checklist for the invoicing module, and Numandi went through everything there. She spoke about creditors and recons and all of that. And if you've missed that session, I will post it onto the website. I'll send the YouTube link on Facebook, everywhere else. So I will be doing that as soon as I've got a minute or so. So it will be there, I promise you. We then also shared with you at that stage an invoicing checklist. Now today's checklist is basically still going to put in some invoicing details, as you can see here, talk about the invoicing module, just to reiterate what you were supposed to do there. And then, of course, at the end, it is also telling you what you should do if you have Winman Lite. Now, in case you're wondering if you've got Winman Lite or full, when you do a new receipt or when you go into your main module, I currently have the full Winman module open, and you will see here that I've got lots of different colors. It almost looks like a bit of a rainbow going on there. Okay, if you are on the light version, you basically will see everything up to here. So you'll only see receipts, deposit slips, and debtors allocation vouchers. You will not be seeing any of the stuff that I am clicking and playing with right here. Okay, so you won't have that. Why? Because most of your stuff, such as your cash books and your non-debtor related receipts and stuff, will most probably be done in the GL. That does not stop you from doing receipts to specific GL or creditors accounts in the Winman module, and it seems like quite a few of you online have forgotten that you also will have another option called a general receipt. Now those general receipts, as I say, can be captured in the main module, can be added onto a deposit, and those deposits will go through to the deposit batch in the GL so that you don't have to jump between your systems to do that. Okie dokes. Now, the first thing we tell you is please make sure that your invoicing module month end was complete. Now, this sounds like it's very self-explanatory, but trust me, we get busy and we forget, okay? You need to make sure that your invoicing month end rollover is completed and it is done before you go and even attempt your checks. The next thing, very important, please ensure that all your receipts that are auto-deposited or placed on a deposit actually agree to your bank statements. And I cannot stress this enough. A lot of people will go in here, they'll capture all their beautiful receipts, but a lot of the statuses will just say closed. It won't say closed, banked and confirmed. It won't actually even agree to the bank statement. There's one particular incident, and I'm not going to mention too many names. She's a regular month-end client of ours. She takes her credit card batches, and you know on a credit card batch you've got multiple receipts. She goes and she puts all those receipts in here. So she does a whole lot of receipts. I'm very proud of her. The problem being is she never places them onto a deposit slip. So they're just staying there with the statuses closed. Now for those of you with your accounting hats on, who knows about debits and credits, you'll agree with me that generally a receipt entry would be debit, receipts clearing, credit, the actual debtor or ledger account. Now, what is the problem with this when it's not placed on a deposit slip? When it is not placed on a deposit slip, it means you will have to, in the GL, go and do another cash book entry. You're going to have to go and put in there and put one total in there to clear out your receipts clearing. All right, so it becomes a problem. Try not to do that. Okay, so when we make mention in here of here saying please ensure that all the receipts are auto-deposited, and it actually agreed to the deposit slip. When you have on your bank statement a deposit for 5,000 Rand, and it's made up of several receipts, please make sure that you've grouped those receipts in your main module onto one deposit. All right, I'm assuming you all know how to do that. You should all have attended. If you didn't, we'll get the recordings to you where we handled receipts, deposits, and journals. All right, so that one, can we say that is done? Is all my receipt and deposit slips saying closed, banked, and confirmed? Well, that's a very good answer. Let's go and see if I did what I was supposed to do. All right, so I'm seeing a whole lot of stuff here. I have one thing that says save as closed. Now, when I look at that, on the right-hand side, can you see there's no deposit slip? Now, the question is, Deirdre, are you telling me I can't do any cash receipts? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you need to remember that if you leave it on closed, like I've done here, where there is no actual bank account specified in here, that you will need to go and do a journal allocation to transfer it from the 903 to the actual particular account. Maybe you put it in petty cash. Maybe the director took the money as a payoff against her loan. Whatever the case might be, you can do that. Celeste, I see people are saying they didn't get the document. I'm going to quickly share this document with you again. I'm not going to email it now, my babes. It's going to take too long. So please tell me if you didn't get it. Okay, I'm busy loading them now. I'll pause until I get it good to go from you.
It's fine, Deirdre. You can email it later, darling. We can see it on your screen.
Okay, I have, if you go into chats, my dear, you'll also find it in chats. I've just uploaded it for you there. Okay. Just check and see if you've got it. You should.
Yes, we've got it. Sorry.
Yeah!
I'm not too good with all these stuff, you know.
No, look, you're doing very well. You're doing very, very well. So that's all that matters. And you're trying. You know what? 2 million points credit to you because you are trying. Okay. So back, although my note says, yeah, if you look at my note says, guys, you should actually read them as closed, banked, and confirmed. It's not going to kill you if you do get cash deposits and you decide to take that money to pay either a creditor, maybe wages, whatever the case. It is fine then if you have a status that just says closed. All right. It then says, please ensure that all the receipts that you placed on the deposit slip, but it's not yet found on the bank statement, must actually then say banked, not confirmed. Now, in which kind of scenario would you have something like this? When you do credit card swipes. Yes. When you do credit card swipes and you've swiped on the 30th, but the money's not showing on your bank, it's only going to come in on the 31st. Yet you did do that swipe on the 30th, you would then have the status in here where it would say closed, banked, not confirmed. So again, yes, we've made these suggestions to you, but there might be a reason for it not to be. So just keep that in mind. Don't freak out and say like, oh, quick, you gave me these notes or not. It's fine. We're just discussing this. And as I said, I know Nomandi is very good at showing you actually in the program. Today, I'm just a talker. Okay, so stick with me. If you want me to show you, I can do that. Samantha, 200 points credit because you said it was swiped in a different month. 100% correct. 2 point credits for you. I don't know what we're going to spend it on, but we'll find something. All right. It then says, please ensure that all the other unbanked receipts were processed as closed. And now I can't tell you that your bane of existence is when you start running month end and it starts blocking you on every single thing. So let's see if I have anything here. What would happen is I would go, I'd capture a receipt as an EFT because I'm quite sure I'm going to deposit this. Oh, this oak doesn't owe me any money. Let's try and find somebody else. I go like this. And how many of you go save and draft? Save and draft will not allow you to run a month end. Did you know that? You probably all did, and you probably were tearing your hair out. All the things that ever comes through as a save as draft will kill you, okay? And I'm not just talking about receipts. I'm talking about deposits. I'm talking about payments. I'm talking about journals. Okay, all of those things when it's save as draft, unfortunately will not allow you to run a month end, and you're going to pull your hair out. Hence me setting or sending you this nice document and saying, guys, remember it must be closed. What happens if the dude, if you were planning on doing a receipt because the guy said he was going to go draw cash and you were like, I'm in a rush, let me quickly do it, save it as a draft. What happens thereafter? If he never comes back, you'll come in here and you will go and void the receipt. Okay. Obviously, if there's segregation of duties involved and you've got a duty manager in there and you're not allowed to void any receipts or anything like that, you'll need to go to the next highest person, who's normally your supervisor, who will be able to go and void those transactions for you. Right. That being said, Daniel, good day, Daniel. You've got a question. You says, what happens if not come through in the month but the next month? That is when you have that status as banked not confirmed. Daniel, does that make sense? So in the new month, you'll go back into that deposit and you'll then change that status to bank confirmed. Does that make sense?
Jy het gewys om die open items op jou deposito slip dat dit vir hom sin maak.
I'm not with you, Namandi. Do you want to drive?
Kan ek drive?
you can. Let me give you access. Remote control to quick software. Namans, you've got control of my PC. Namandi has got something she wants to share, and I think it's probably important. I didn't even think of that. See, there's a reason we co-host, eh?
Daniel, are you on the light or are you on the full? Because if you're on the light, all your open deposits will lie in your deposit slip waiting for you to bank in the next month. But you're on the full, like Deirdre is here, your receipt will just show as closed. And only in your cash book, when you actually go and bank it, can you actually go and batch it and bank it. So it's important that you know that your open items on your deposit slip is the unbanked, like you're asking, it's not banked in a month. So if you've done a speed point on the last day of the month, you've receipted it, but you can't bank it. So then you need to show it in the quick draft that you've done the receipt. The client no longer owes you the money, but it's not banked yet. So if you go to your deposit slips and you go into a particular bank, it will just, like Deirdre says, it will just say closed. And that's, once you've got it in your deposit book, then you know it's banked. But in your slip, it's still an open item. There we go. Like Deirdre
okay,
showed.
perfect.
Whatever you've got on the right-hand side, it says here, unbanked. So those are all the receipts that you've done, but it's not banked yet. Only once you throw them over and save as banked or confirmed, are you confirming the new month's date of banking a previous month's slip. That's it.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. We're on the light at the moment.
Well, your light, then basically what Deirdre has got on the screen now is perfect. You're going to do all your receipts. Do not pick the bank. Just save as closed. Wait for them to lie here, all of that. So you will confirm by month end that all of those receipts is the batches that you're sitting in your hand that is not banked yet. And you'll know you'll only receive that money in the bank for your cash book 1st of July or 2nd of July. Then all of these okies here must be those slips you're sitting in your hand.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
No problem. Thanks, Deirdre.
No, please. I've given you remote control so you can drive my screen if need be. Shane is saying, can you please advise how to proceed if we want our receipts to be issued on cash, credit, and bank transfer? Our current receipt layout does not have credit card and so. Okay, those are called receipt types. Just say yay if I'm right. Are you referring to these okies? Yeah. Okay, they get loaded in the invoicing module. I'm hoping my screen is still showing what I'm doing.
Yes.
Thanks, Scott. If my invoicing is just going to open up now, where is it? Oh, here we go. Yeah. To load those, you're going to go to Setup, Company, sorry, not Company, Receipts and Payments, and Receipt Types. You'll go and add them in there. Okay. So if you don't like all these gobbledygook, if it's too much, you can go and deactivate them by simply clicking that. Or if you need to add more, simply click on New. All right. I wouldn't delete them because the chances are that you've already captured them. And for data integrity, we prefer you to keep them there. So rather, if you do need to disable something, like I don't see the difference between a direct deposit and an EFT. For me, they're one and the same thing. So if I don't want EFTs, I can simply deactivate and say save. All right. In the same breath, if you want everything to say direct deposit, unless, of course, you want to go and change it, if you open it up, there's a nice button here that says, please set the default for new receipts. If you click that, from now on, every time you do a new receipt, it'll assume that it is a direct deposit or whatever the case is, whatever you have selected in here. Okay. Let's get back into main module. Numans, you won't believe me, but you sound perfect now. So I don't know if you want to take over.
Rather not.
It's Murphy's Law. Okie dokie. So we have had a look at all the unbanked receipts that were processed as closed. We've given them good answers. And as I said to you, ideally, if it was cash that you received, you will need to journal it to the various accounts, whether it's petty cash, a specific supplier, maybe you went and paid them in cash. You need to make sure that those transactions are followed. Comes back to my journal saying process is closed. Every single thing, although we have that save as draft option, every single thing at a minimum must have a status of closed. I can't reiterate this enough. Whether it is a payment, I mean, and this is not just for Winmain Light, guys. This is for everything. Whether it is a journal, a receipt, a purchase order, a purchase journal, a payment, allocation voucher, or a cash book entry, they all need to be closed. If they're not closed, my system will absolutely scream at you, and it'll be like, I'm not going to do anything more, and it goes on strike. And trust me, you're going to cry. You're really going to cry. I'm going to feel sorry for you, but there's not much I can do. The next thing, please, then, in our process that we suggest you do is please run yourself debtors age analysis with your open items. You know, things happen, we get busy, and then we think we allocated to the right account, and then suddenly something went wrong. We normally go into our age analysis, and then very important, this show open items over here. Please need to be ticked. All right, if you only want to look at debtors, then obviously use these sub-accounts. If your data is huge, then maybe the sub-account is a better idea. Make sure open items is on, and gooi print. And let me just pull it across. Here we go. Okay, it's a bit small, but you don't need to stress. But this will basically show you every single invoice, creditor to whatever transaction it is. And this is normally a good idea for you when you have this age analysis open to now go and see if there's not any contras, maybe that you've missed. You know, an invoice against a payment, an invoice against a credit note, if the system's not automatically doing it for you. Those maybe journals, just see if your debits and credits within a particular account can't quickly be contrad. Go back and do those allocation vouchers. Just make your age analysis a bit nicer, a bit neater. And then, of course, you'll agree with me, if you clean your age analysis, your client's statement is also going to look so much better. So play with your open items. Check and double check, maybe see if something looks a bit odd and weird. Maybe you've allocated it to the wrong account. You get the idea. Go and play with it. Put it in there. Make it nice. Anything you want to add, Numans, about open items, age analysis?
The only thing that will stand out is if you've got an invoice that was done incorrectly and now all of a sudden you're receipting, but there's no invoice to allocate. I mean, the client will not pay you unless there's a tax invoice. Then you just need to go back to your invoicing module and fix your invoice. But then you can only allocate it in the current month that your receipt is in, because remember, if your invoicing rollover is done, you can only do that receipt in the next month to allocate the new invoice.
Quite right. Exactly as Numandi said. Okay. It also then, please, again, there's a lot of closed here. Can you see we probably put, I think if I have to do a search on closed, I'll probably find about 20. Every single thing needs to be closed. Now your next step is, we now know everything is closed, all the transactions are done. We now need to go and look for other small things. Check your VAT report for general accuracy. Okay, where do we find our VAT report? Our VAT report is also, believe it or not, if you didn't know this, built into your main module. It's under queries, management queries, VAT report here. You then have the option of having detailed listings for invoicing and main module. So you will literally, if you do have these activated, to see every single transaction where the VAT implications were. I normally don't print them, but it is handy at month end when you do your checks just to go and have a look at those transactions and make sure everything looks fine. Lemans, you can jump in at any time, my babes.
No, sorry, I'm typing to Tracy. She's asking about messages. So once again, Tracy, you're going to have to go to your invoicing module and go to your setup and to your fixed messages.
Is that the one we're looking for?
Deirdre.
Why are you saying sorry? You drove my command, so I don't care. It's fine.
So there we go.
Well, Gata, if Deirdre can type, yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Please, Daniel. We'll get into that just now.
I won't put a spanner in the works today.
You can. Because somebody else might think exactly the same way, so it's cool.
Oh, okay. When you do a ledger account in the light with the latest update, it's got ticked all the time, show open items and details.
Okay, you're talking about an age analysis.
And a ledger in the light.
Like
as soon as I go there, yeah, basically it shows open items and the lower down, one line down.
Okay, but Daniel, you won't have GL accounts. If you are on light, you'll only have debtors and referral debtors.
Yeah, I've got debtors there, but it also shows with a little tick lower down where it says open items and details is ticked automatically.
Yes.
Is there any way I can set it not to show that?
For everything.
The reason is it confuses the client totally.
To see the details and the open items.
Details, yeah. They just want to see the invoice number and that's it and the amount. So now I've been unticking them each time. But I was wondering if there's something that you can't turn off and only do it at month end.
I'm going to say the answer is no. And you're not showing it, although this is not where we're wanting to go, it's still a good question. All right. I don't think you're going to have it under ledgers. We have it for statements. If I can spell
sort in statements as well, but I also sort in the ledger account when you do it.
No, let's see.
Is right?
Hi, Bookie.
Once we do that, you taught me like this. You go to the print statements and you override. You click on that override branch. Then you do show B, the break for balance forward. Close items, use debit and credit boxes.
Yes, you can absolutely use that.
And then it blocks those.
That's it. What you also can do, and why everybody's probably wondering what the hell is Deirdre doing in invoicing. Your document layouts in Windows Invoicing also will allow you to do these overrides. Can you see here where it says default statement layout? It allows you to always have certain settings on. So you don't have to go in the override tabs. If you know it has to apply every single time, you can also come into your branch settings. What I was hoping is that it would have something like this for ledger. And Daniel's son, the answer is no. You're going to have to do this manually.
So I just untick each time.
Unfortunately, yeah. Daniel was referring to the ledgers and not the actual statements. So Celeste was 100% right with the override options in statements, but ledgers won't have override.
But ledgers are...
Sorry, dude, you will suffer forever.
Thanks.
Okay.
So it's not in the pipeline with the program.
No, but no,
No,
I
that's
can tell
fine.
you this portion here where it was talking about allocation showing hidden details was because somebody wanted it and we added it
Okay.
on. So I think majority asked for it and therefore we put it in. So yeah, I don't know.
No problem. I was just thinking if there's a way.
Sorry, Boki.
Yeah,
We were busy doing that. So anybody?
Okay.
Daniel, have you tried using the monitor of account and put a tick in the paid closed amount so that the open items that has been allocated is not showing on it, and then basically it will reduce your long list to a smaller list as well? Have you tried that?
I have done that. Yeah, basically I do it that way if I need to look up invoices or credit notes.
This is a lot user friendly using the monitor of account than using that ledger that you were just using.
I know. I'm also biased. I like the monitor and account. It's personal preference, but I just like it. You can do so much with it. Sorry, Daniel, we just like outvoted you. Hey, you all come for training and then we're like, no, sorry, your idea is bad. There you go. Sorry.
You're the weakest link. Goodbye.
Sorry, man. Okay, folks, let's get back to the system checklist. And it was talking, please look at the VAT report for general accuracies. Make sure your invoicing and main modules were all allocated to the correct account. And what does this mean? It means, I just want to close that. Sorry about that. It literally means that when you did a new service fee, and that when you selected the VAT on the service fee, so I went in, I did a new invoice, I selected a debtor. Did I choose the biggest one? Deirdre, you always have to choose the people that's like 5 million stuff. Okay. So let's pretend I did the service fee. Okay, gave it a passenger's name. That year, you didn't go and select something like input tax. All right, or maybe it was a general charge because general charges will allow you input and output tax. The system is saying when you do those kind of reports, if something jumps out, where will I find the answer? You will always find the answer in invoicing on the VAT types that you have in here. Now let's see if I've been a good girl. So we're going to go to queries, management, VAT report, and this is where I said to you, I will always keep them activated. When it's my final VAT return, I'm not going to print every single line item, but right now at month end, I do want to see what's happening. And luckily, I've not been that busy, so my system will show me all my transactions here at the bottom. And then, of course, this S code here will tell me whether it is output VAT or whether it is input VAT, being the D. All right, so what you will do, come through this list and just check that under the invoicing heading, as I've got right here, that you don't have any weird Ds. And if you do have a D, go check out the invoice and see why did you charge input VAT. Maybe it was a courier fee, maybe it was for an expense that you had to raise a general charge. In that instance, then of course you would understand why you had it, but come through here, have a look at those kind of VATs. Nomans, anything you would like to add, milady?
No, all good so far, thanks.
All good so far. Anybody have any questions with regards to VAT maybe that you want to quickly ask us now as part of your month-end checks that we can do? I'm going to say the answer right now is everybody is happy and everybody knows what you do. Your next step then would be for you to run and export the control account into the Windows GL. Now, why is that important? Because it's no use at this point in time that you have got everything done, but you haven't updated that TB. Remember, the TB only gets updated when you run both the control account as well as however many deposit books you have. It is only then that your GL will be updated and your TB will sit with the final or the latest balances. Now, for those of you, I'm assuming you don't know, and if you do, you can sleep a little bit for the next 5 seconds. Your control accounts will happen as follows. You're going to go queries, control account. It'll default to your system date. Now remember, we are doing month end and I'm still doing month end for May. I'm simply going to go. The system will then load all the transactions for me and totals in here, showing me invoices, credit notes, purchases, journals, movement, which is your cumulative figure of all the transactions in the actual month. And then, of course, depending on where you click, it'll quickly give you a quick breakdown at the bottom. All you need to do is simply click on export. Please make sure that it says completed. Okay, if it doesn't say completed, it means you haven't done it. Now, if you're like me and you're a bit of a control freak and you want to make sure it's there, if you click it a second time, it's just going to say to you 0 updates required. So it's not like it's going to go and delete anything. It's just going to go and check and say, listen here, Deirdre, calm the heck down. I've already done it. I'm not doing it again. So it's kind of cheeky, isn't it? Right, so this is the one way. The second way then, of course, is exporting your deposits. Now, if you like the long way around, you're going to go File, View Deposit Book, and go and click there. I'm a lazy person, so I'm going to go there, the dark green, select the deposits, and this one, why is it not? Oh, because I'm on full win main. You will have an export button here at the bottom, guys, that you will need to export. I actually think on the Win Lite, if you click here, it has an export button here. If anybody can verify for me that's on Lite, it should have export, little line here that says export cash books. All right, so you can also click there. Right, so that's your control account. That's your deposits. Anything you want to add, Nomans?
No, just when you run your control account, let's say you've done, there's more than one person doing a journal and you think you're finished and you're running your control account and somebody is still slipping in another journal. If your control account here is not 0, then it means, hang on, somebody is still doing something.
Yeah.
So that's a good test to make sure everything, there is no more drafts and everybody's on the same page, meaning you're ready to rock and roll. So it's always good to run a control account before you're ready to make sure this OK is null.
Okay. That's a very handy tip. Thank you. I actually didn't even think of that. See, we should always co-host.
And I just asked there, Deirdre, would you not be logging them out while you were doing month-end procedures?
No, because I haven't done month-end physically yet. I will be logging them out on my next step. At this stage, this is just me going through my checklists, making everything, sure everything is fine. What you could do, Jan, what you could do is you could possibly, when you have my list on hand, you could go and say utilities log and log people out before you start. But the problem is the minute you log people out and there is stuff still in draft, you have to cancel the log out and run to them and say, go and do it, and then you have to come back and then you have to log out. So we generally don't do that right until the point we're now happy with our main module and we do want to actually close the transaction.
Okay, thank you.
Or the month, I should say, not transaction. No, thank you. Okay, so this is basically then for the main module Lite, where everybody on Win Main Lite will now say, I'm done. I'm ready for my main module transactions. I can now go ahead and I can do my month end. And you would go do it under your utilities month end. For the poor people that's on full, you still have a long way to go. So let me open up the full one. So in full, we have done the invoicing, we've done the receipts, we've made sure that we've got our statuses there. So everything so far is pretty much the same. The only thing is, at step 8, you will now continue checking. So you're not really done. You still have to check payments, make sure those payments are closed. And then, of course, you have the added responsibility of running a creditor's age analysis with your open items. Why would you do something like that? Again, for the exact same reason as you have for your debtors. Go and check that you haven't misallocated, or maybe you've done something or forgot something or something like that. Show open items. And here we go. And remember, guys, we can put these age analysis in Excel if you want them, okay? Nomans, anything you want to say about creditors, because it's pretty much like your debtors.
Well,
that is a nice invoice.
If you've done your invoicing correct and you've checked the statement in the invoicing module before you closed your invoicing module, your creditors should be automatically correct anyway, because if you've wrongly invoiced it with your payment method, cash or credit card, At the end of the day, your creditor will be affected the same way your debtor would be affected if your invoice was incorrect in the wrong month.
That's right. Oh, sorry, there's a lion in my yard. I don't know what the hell's going on. She's just making a noise. Let me just shush her quickly.
She's agreeing with the comments.
I think so, hey? She's like, and you better make sure your
saying,
creditors are fine.
You betcha,
Benji.
yeah.
But I just want to add something with the main module light. I always just feel do not roll over your main module yet until your cash book, your general ledger balances. Because remember, if you roll over that date and you're only going to reconcile your cash book in a day or two after, and you realize there's 2 or 3 receipts that wasn't done to a debtor, you cannot go back to the previous month. So always with the light and the main, remember your system is live. So do not change the date until the cash box balances, please, people. It's very important.
I know in an ideal world, we don't live in an ideal world, but in an ideal world, I would say make sure you update those cash books right through the month in the GL. We're talking about light, well, both. Full as well as light. Make sure you update these cash books and everything so that you don't have a whole month's worth of work to do on the 1st or 2nd as soon as you roll over. I would then, in my ideal world, I'll do invoicing main and GL all on one day and roll them over, because as Nomandi quite rightly said, it's all great, fine and wonderful for you to close your one main, but if you now pick up something on your bank recon because you didn't capture correctly or something like that, it's too late to change. So yeah, I don't know, Nomans. I like to do all 3 one day, but yeah, I know time constraints is probably a bit difficult for other people. Okie dokie. Where were we? Okay, so we've done creditors age analysis. Purchase orders. I don't know if many people are using purchase orders. Can anybody advise if they're using purchase orders? I'm not talking about journals. We're talking about normal purchase orders now. I think very few people are using it.
Would love to see it though.
Well, purchase orders we did last week, but your purchase orders would basically be the nice little yellow stuff where you will basically just raise an order to, let's say, Walton Stationery for stationery.
Oh, that's right. I remember. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Please, big thing. Do not save things as draft, make sure they're closed. So if you come through your register and you'll see I'm a naughty girl, I don't use purchase orders. In here that the status here will say closed and not draft. Okay. What I would suggest, not so much a purchase order, because that's really just an order that you're going to send through to Waltons to say that, listen, yeah, I want to order it. It's not going to affect any of your GL accounts. It's really just a nice little cute little register where it shows what you're planning on doing. Okay. That's where you would put those purchase orders. What I do, or I would actually use more, and maybe Nomandi can agree or disagree, I see purchase vouchers used far more than I do purchase orders, because your purchase vouchers now, if you look at them in here, you will have your lines and you can say I've bought 3 pens and it was $20 each, or 1 eraser, 5 reams of A4 paper, those kind of things. Do you use them more often? Nomandi, you do a lot of bookkeeping. Would you use your purchase vouchers more than your purchase orders?
I'd rather use the vouchers than the orders,
Okay,
because the vouchers is more live because you're sitting with a tax invoice in your hand.
Okay. Elsie's saying you would use them for accruals. Are you talking about orders or vouchers, Elsie?
Sorry, yes, I'm talking about the vouchers.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that would be a very good idea then to do that. Okay. Right, next step then would be please print all your month-end remittances from your Windows invoicing. And then please make sure that you have processed. I know a lot of you are on WinMain Lite. I understand why you're on WinMain Lite, because you enjoy the flexibility of doing the cash books at a later stage, maybe adjustment journals, those kind of things. I really see the benefit in full WinMain, and I'm not trying to do a sales pitch here. But as you can see on this checklist, it is telling you, make sure your checks are now deposits. any non-debtor or creditor accounts, so any other payments maybe that you did for expenses, those kind of things. Same with the deposit. It talks to you about your bank statement. Make sure you've captured all those bank statement things. The nice thing about full win main, but it's also the worst thing about full win main, you need to make sure that you've done absolutely everything before you can close off that month. So as good as I love it, because I'm like, then I know everything is done and I don't have to worry about anything except maybe when I have to do my adjustment journals or anything like that in the GL. I really like full win main, but yeah, I don't know. I just like the fact that I can capture my checks, my deposits, my bank items. And then obviously this line here is just like the beginning and the end. I don't need to now go into the GL and make sure the control account and the deposits is exported straight here. I will be doing this bank reconciliation, agree it back to my bank statement itself. I like it. For me, I like when it's there, it's done. It's like you're not going further than this unless you have done it. Nushin is saying, is there a difference fee between main and light? No, Nushin, at all. The only difference that there would be now is for us to convert you from light to full, and that of course we'll need you to do the well, not you. We need to do that. You can, I suppose, too, but yeah, rather not. We'll need to bring the balances in of your creditors and throw them into the main module, your referral debtors, all of those things, bank statement balances and that. So that will be, there will be a cost to that if you want us to do it. If you're very brave and you do it yourself, don't phone me. Okay, if something goes wrong, you can do it yourself, but you need to be switched on. You probably will be. Okay, so what is the difference between full and light? As you can see here, the sections 8 through to 50 now focus on making sure you've captured those bank statements, you've reconciled those bank statements. They are now matching 100%. Whatever's in your cash book now is 100% exactly the same as what's on your bank statement. I really like that. I love it. I don't know, maybe I'm just biased. Nomandi, maybe you've got something better to say than me just saying you should go on full win main, because yeah, I think I'll be shut by everybody.
The full main helps because you're actually building your cash book as you function. So as you're doing a receipt, doing your receipts on your bank statement, as you're doing all the monies out of your bank, either via cash book line item or via payment to a creditor, where on the light you only just do receipts. So you're working in two different programs and capturing gets done by different people. At the end of the day, whoever is doing the reconciliation on the light has got to do it a lot more regular to make sure everything is done. With the full main, one person can run the whole show and the cash book gets done. Once again, you do not roll the dates over until the cash book balances.
Yeah, quite right. Okay, I'm not going to talk about VAT again because we have done that in the light version. We then will export our control accounts as well as our deposit books still into the GL. Why? We need to update those TBs, guys. We need to update those balances in the TB, which will give us income statements, balance sheets, whatever kind of reports we do want to pull from the GL. So, yeah, if you want those financials, remember control account and deposits. I think your payments also a batch. Sorry, I forgot about that. So your payments would also be. Now, before you close your main module, and this is the big difference between light and full. Yes, we've gone on about the bank statement and you reconciling and lacquer, but don't, or you shouldn't, now try and run a month end until you've reconciled your BSP reconciliation and any of your other creditors. Do not run that month end if you haven't done this. So it feels like a bit more work because now it's going to take a little bit longer for you to reconcile before you can do month end. And that's maybe one of the bad things about having the full win main, because it will need you to make sure that you control these creditors stuff. But you still now will need to do those recons before rolling over. Okay. Lemans, you can jump in if you want to say anything about creditors.
With you on that one. The main Light is more relaxed. The full
Yes.
everything in that month. Your debtors, your creditors, and your journals.
Absolutely. Yeah, light gives you flexibility. It's not as stringent. Where full gives you better control, if I can put it that way, because now you're forced to make sure everything is right. I used to be a travel agent as well. You know what? We all went for light because we could do those receipts. And then at year end, just before IATA wanted our financials, we all went into a fat freak. And then suddenly we realized we better get our butts into gear. And then it was like recon upon recon. And for 5 days, we didn't sleep. Where with full wind main, yeah, we didn't sleep every month, eh? Oh, well. Okay, dokes. So once you've done that, you then will proceed with your month end in your Windows main module. It's not going to go and scream at you now about things being in draft, and that's a typical thing that happens in the main module when you try and run those month ends. You know, it comes up with all those blocks saying, you can't do month end, blocked, 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 and it irritates the living daylights out of all of us. Trust me, I've been a victim too. Okay. Your system will now be fine because you've already gone through all my checks and you've made sure that there's no closed stuff. Daniel is saying we do the reconciling of bank statements every day, but we reconcile the day before. In other words, balanced up to 19th July. Then today we reconcile up to 20 July. Then we can just make sure all balances, and then it does not take long at month end. Quite right. And also remember, guys, we are going to talk about bank reconciliations. We didn't have enough, believe it or not, but you guys weren't interested in the sessions for tomorrow. So we've canceled tomorrow's sessions for the bank recons. Now, bank recons we're doing this afternoon, but I'm talking about importing of bank statements. But no Monday. I don't know. I had 2 people who wanted it. I'm like, guys, I was crying. You have no idea. I love you, but I'm not going to prepare hours for 2 people. I love you. So we said we'll try that. Yeah. Well, you guys might, I don't know what's, I'm sorry. We will do this in August, where we're going to show you how to import your bank statements and all of that. This afternoon, we still have bank recons. I'm right. Yes, the next one's bank recons. I'll show you bank recons. The nice thing about those is, remember, we can save them. I love bank recons and the fact that you can save them at some point. Did you all know about that save button? If you didn't, this afternoon is the place to be, hey? That save button will basically save your recon at that point in time. So you can then just go on from there. If something goes wrong, guess what? You open that recon where you knew you were still balancing. But we'll talk about that this afternoon.
Thanks, Ray.
Okay.
Deirdre, sorry.
No, you can call me anything. It's fine. I'm responding to it. You heard me.
Yeah. Just before you close month end, with us, we charge interest for clients who promise to pay and they don't pay.
Yeah.
You would do that step before you close, obviously.
Well, you can, or you can do it in the new month as your very first journal of the new month. It depends. It's a personal preference, I suppose. I would run it around about the 2nd because people promised to pay me on the 30th and maybe there was a time delay. But you could also run it at month end, yes?
What we do is we give 7 days before month end. So ours will be from the 20th, basically. So the interest will be done on their statement as well.
Okay.
20th, 21st.
That is very cool. Oh, you see. Yeah, I suppose you can run interest journals whenever you want to. I like the idea of you running it 7 days before. It's absolutely up to you. I'm assuming everybody knows about interest journals, right?
They're brave enough, yes.
Yeah. When would you do them? No Monday?
Never.
The problem is these interest journals. Somebody else said something.
No, I'm sorry. Interest, it's very brave charging interest in the economy that we're in. But if I would do it after month end, meaning giving them 7 days after, depending on how my agreement is with my clients, if it's COD or 30 days or 60 days. But if a client is now running over 60 days in the agreement stated, then I will charge interest. But I would still try to get the money before I'm going to charge.
Okay.
We have tried everything and he still doesn't want to pay, so that's why we do it the 21st and then we do it on the 7th of the new month.
Okay. I'm going to pretend you guys don't know how to do interest journals, and I'm going to show you quite literally in a new invoice. Not an invoice. Yes, see, Deirdre. In a new journal, you're simply going to go and click on the interest button. Okay, let me just put in their interest, so otherwise it's going to scream and it's not going to put in what I want. Simply go down to interest. You don't have to do debits or credits. The system's going to do it for you. At the account type, select whether it's a debtor or ledger. Apply balances. And here you can go and decide, do you want it for only very old accounts, 2 months, 3 months, how stringent you want to be. You're literally going to go and select. Select your interest rate. You can type it in. You can go and see. Maybe you've negotiated with them something. I don't know. I'm going to just say whack 25% because I can. Can you imagine we do Zimbabwe 99%? But in any case, ignore charges below. So if the balance is less than $10, please don't raise interest. And yeah, I would also put some cap on there because you don't want to go and create 5 million little lines. In the description, select where you want to charge it, and then very important, yeah, you would or should actually have like an interest charge. I don't think I have it, so I'm very sorry. I'm just going to call it a general charge, but you would have something in there called interest. Very important, specify the GL account that you want to charge to and say run. So guess what, guys? There's your journal. Okay, it's lovely. It creates it for you. Whether your client is going to pay you is another story. Look at this. Holy crap. I would have made a lot of money here. Hey, $180. Okay, that's your interest journal. It's as easy as that. You don't need to go do debits and credits and debits and credits. Let the system do it for you. Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's me and my training. I always sidestep somewhere, hey? All right. At this point in time, you're now ready to run your month end, and you will go through your month end procedures. Again, if you have errors, and I'm not talking about you having errors when it says transactions still in draft mode. Guys, we spoke about it this morning when we ran diagnostics. Please don't phone us when you have stuff that says draft, okay? You guys are brave enough. Really, you are brave enough. You can do this. Go check those stuff and make sure nothing says draft before you phone Quick Software, because the times you have errors on month end, it should be critical errors where I need to send a data patch to fix your stuff for you. It shouldn't be something as a draft. Don't spend your time and money on a phone call to Quick if it's something like a draft. We've given you this checklist now. Use it to your advantage and save some money. We don't mind you phoning us for draft stuff, but yeah, I think your time limits on support might be, I think, only 1 hour, or you might actually be paying for every minute you speak to us. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I know we say here if you incur any errors. I should actually say if you incur any errors other than drafts, please phone us. All right, from here on, you now need to go through the vibes. If you have automatic emailing of statements activated, you won't need to print your statements. The system will do it automatically for you. If you don't, well, then you're going to have to go and do these manually. And then, of course, printing your age analysis, your creditor statements, all those kind of things you will then be required to do in the WinMain module. Now, we will discuss the GL when you have your training on GL with me, I think, next week, where we talk about all of this. But obviously, we've said to you full WinMain checklist, and we included invoicing and GL here for a reason. You still need to kind of keep in track with it and follow through. Okay. Any questions about WinMain? Anything you want to add? Maybe there's something on our list that you feel we should add or take out? The months, is there anything you think I should add or something?
No, I
you
think we've covered it all. No, I think we're good.
Okay. Everybody did get the list or the documents from me for full light and for full? Any questions? Then it seems we're done for the, well, not for the day, but for the session. Fatima, what is your email address, love? Quickly give it to me. Are you on full or light, my babes? I'll send it to you quickly, no problem. Guys, thank you once again for joining us. We do appreciate it. You must have yourselves a lovely day, and then we shall chat again. For those of you who will see later, take care, and until next time, have a good one. Bye.